The attack on Paul Heyman this week on WWE SmackDown has sent shockwaves through the wrestling world. Fans believe that it could now lead to the return of Roman Reigns. Of course, Reigns isn't the only ally that Paul Heyman has in WWE. It was seen just last week that CM Punk and Heyman have remained close friends, and they could decide to form an alliance to exact revenge on the bloodline. At present, Reigns is at a major disadvantage since even if he is able to reunite with the Usos, he will still be a man short as Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, and Jacob Fatu now make up the new bloodline. Could CM Punk be that final man? When he has been cleared and able to put the issue with Drew McIntyre behind him, around SummerSlam when Reigns is rumored to return, he would be free to help the cause of his friend. Punk and Paul Heyman have been close friends for most of their lives, and last week's episode of SmackDown could have been a tease that he is set to be part of the bloodline angle moving forward. Roman Reigns was one of the biggest heels in WWE. Roman Reigns was a major WWE heel throughout his time as the Tribal Chief and left WrestleMania 40 as a heel after he was pinned by Cody Rhodes and dropped his World Championship to Cody Rhodes. The bloodline has since been completely changed and would now be unrecognizable to Roman Reigns if he were to return today. Solo Sikoa could now be considered a bigger heel than Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns has managed to be somehow seen as a face by the WWE Universe without even being on TV because there is now a belief that he isn't the one pushing Solo Sikoa to commit these acts. Reigns and Paul Heyman were close friends, and he would not have ordered him to be taken out of the stable in this way. Sikoa is now so hated by the WWE Universe that Reigns could return as a face if he were to go against the new bloodline and make it clear that he isn't the man who has been controlling Sikoa. Jimmy Uso could align with Roman Reigns upon return. Jimmy Uso was kicked out of the bloodline following his WrestleMania loss to his brother, Jay, and hasn't been seen since. Uso is reportedly struggling with an injury, but it seems that he could also be a face when he makes his return to WWE. He will surely want some revenge against the man who removed him from the bloodline, his own brother Solo. Jimmy Uso and Reigns together as faces would be the perfect duo to avenge Paul Heyman, who has pushed both men's careers forward over the past few years. Roman Reigns had been gone for months, leaving a power vacuum that shook the WWE Universe to its core. Paul Heyman, once the undisputed mouthpiece of the Tribal Chief, was left exposed and vulnerable. It didn't take long for old enemies and new opportunists to strike. When Paul was brutally attacked backstage by a rogue faction led by Seth Rollins, the WWE Universe was left wondering if Roman would ever return. Little did they know, Roman was planning his most dramatic return yet, with a character transformation and new alliances that would redefine his legacy. Chapter 1: The Return of the Conquerors. The night began with an electric atmosphere. The arena was packed, and the air was thick with anticipation. Whispers had been circulating about a possible return, but no one knew for sure. The show opened with Paul Heyman, visibly battered but defiantly standing in the ring. "Ladies and gentlemen," Heyman began, his voice still carrying that unmistakable authority. "I stand before you as a man wronged, a man betrayed. But mark my words, retribution is coming. And when it does, it will be swift, it will be brutal, and it will be unstoppable." Just as Heyman finished his proclamation, the lights went out. The crowd erupted into a frenzy, their collective breath held in suspense. A single spotlight illuminated the stage, and the familiar strains of Roman Reigns' theme music began to play. But this time, it was different, darker, more menacing. Roman Reigns stepped onto the stage, but he was not the same man who left. Gone was the armor-like vest, in its place was a sleek, black, tactical outfit. His hair was slicked back, his eyes hidden behind dark sunglasses. Behind him stood a figure cloaked in mystery, a tall, imposing figure whose identity was obscured by a hood. Roman raised his hand, and the music cut out, leaving an eerie silence. He slowly removed his sunglasses and stared directly into the camera, his eyes burning with a new intensity. "I told you all," he began, his voice a low growl, "I am the head of the table. And I will not be disrespected. Seth Rollins, you made a grave mistake. You dared to lay your hands on Paul Heyman, my wise man. Now, you will face the consequences. Chapter 2. A New Alliance. The figure behind Roman stepped forward, revealing himself to be none other than Solo Sikoa, the younger brother of Roman and former NXT standout. Solo's presence sent shockwaves through the crowd. Together, they were a formidable force, but Roman had more surprises in store. As the head of the table, I've always had the wisdom to choose my allies wisely, Roman continued. And today, I introduce to you the newest member of our bloodline, Drew McIntyre. The arena exploded. Drew McIntyre, the Scottish warrior, walked out to join Roman and Solo. His alliance with Roman was unexpected, given their storied past, but the fierce look in his eyes showed that this was a bond forged in mutual respect and a desire for domination. Chapter 3. The plan unfolds over the next few weeks. Roman, Solo, and Drew systematically dismantled anyone who dared to stand in their way. They targeted Seth Rollins' faction with surgical precision, taking out each member one by one. The trio operated with a ruthless efficiency that left no doubt they were here to reclaim their throne and avenge the wrongs done to their family. Seth Rollins, ever the architect, watched as his allies fell. He knew Roman was coming for him, but he had plans of his own. Rollins was no stranger to mind games and had enlisted help from the Shadows, Randy Orton, the Viper, and a master of psychological warfare. Chapter 4. The confrontation. The climax came at SummerSlam, where Roman and his new alliance faced off against Rollins and Orton in a brutal tag team match. The stakes were high, and the tension palpable. The match was a back-and-forth spectacle, with each team pushing the other to their limits. Roman and Rollins finally stood face to face in the ring, their shared history hanging heavy in the air. Blow after blow, they tore into each other, the crowd roaring with every impact. But Roman's transformation had given him an edge, a darker, more primal strength. With a thunderous spear, Roman took Rollins down. As he pinned him, the referee's hand hit the mat for the 3 count, and the arena erupted. Roman had done it. He had avenged Paul Heyman and reclaimed his dominance. Chapter 5. The aftermath. Roman stood tall in the ring, flanked by Solo and Drew. Paul Heyman, bruised but smiling, joined them. The alliance had proven itself unstoppable, and the WWE Universe was left to reckon with a new reality. Roman took the microphone one last time. This is just the beginning. The tribal chief is back, stronger and more ruthless than ever. And anyone who dares to challenge us will face the same fate as Seth Rollins. Believe that. As the show closed, the image of Roman, Solo, Drew, and Heyman standing united was etched into the minds of every fan. Roman Reigns had returned, not just as the head of the table, but as a conqueror with an unbreakable alliance, ready to dominate WWE like never before.